Hello y'all, I'm Tom and this is the ASUS ROG Strix XG32UCWG. It's a fairly average gaming monitor, OLED 4K, all that average stuff. No, I'm just kidding, of course. This monitor costs about $1,000 and yes, it is a 4K monitor. Yes, it is an OLED monitor, but is it actually worth $1,000? The answer to that is yes, of course, a resounding yes. Granted, it has its flaws, but it's not at all terrible. Now let's get started with the picture quality and of course, the OLED panel. The OLED panel. The OLED panel provides the best picture quality as well as the best performance in a monitor. Generally speaking. The infinite contrast ratio provides the deepest blacks imaginable. They're basically true blacks, since each pixel turns itself on and off depending on the scene, as well as very bright highlights, and that's thanks to the peak brightness of 1000 nits. Now, at 32 inches, this monitor gets a screen resolution of 3840 by 2160 or 4K or 2160p, whichever you're more familiar with. That's a pretty solid screen resolution for a monitor of this size. It's sharp, it's detailed, and it's lovely. Can't really ask for more. Now for the people here who need great color accuracy or vibrant colors and all that, I'm sure you'll be glad to know that this monitor covers about 95% of the DCI-P3 color space. So, if you're a professional looking to do some color grading or some color critical work, this monitor does a fine job. Now since it uses an OLED panel, the only thing you can expect is the best performance. You get a maximum refresh rate of 165Hz at 4K. Now if you do decide to play in 1080p, which is, it's understandable, you want the best performance, you want the highest frames per second, it's definitely good. It's definitely good for you, because you get a refresh rate of 330Hz. Now whichever you choose, you'll perform just fine when it comes to competitive gaming. Response times are practically instant since it's an OLED panel, so no ghosting, and most definitely no screen tearing thanks to NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro compatibility. Ta-da! Now when it comes to this monitor's ports, we have two HDMI 2.1 ports and one DisplayPort 1.4 port. As for other I/O, there's one USB-C port with only 15 watts of power delivery, and it's also capable of DP Alt mode, one USB Type-B port, 3 USB Type-A ports, and one 3.5mm audio out port. It's a pretty basic selection of ports, but this monitor also has a KVM switch, so there's that. Now if you're worried about burn-in, this monitor has a custom heatsink, pixel cleaning, several other features, built-in features to protect the monitor from burn-in, but there's one physical feature that I actually think is pretty cool. ASUS calls it the Neo Proximity Sensor, and what it basically does is it detects if there's something or someone in front of the monitor, and what it does is it keeps the monitor on when you're in front of your monitor and turns off when you're quite a distance away, or basically if you're just away from the monitor, AFK even. Now for $1,000, and that's not on sale, I think it's a pretty great monitor. If you're looking for alternatives, there's the MSI MAG321UPX, and at the time of writing, it's currently cheaper at just $900, but its list price goes for $1,000 too. Another alternative is the Samsung G81SF, which currently costs just under $900, but its list price is $1,300. Now if I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna choose the ASUS ROG Strix monitor. I just think my $1,000 would be better spent with it, simply because of the added protection from burn-in, and again, that's thanks to the proximity sensor. Now it may be placebo, and it may not be, but it's better to have some peace of mind, don't you think? And speaking of peace of mind, here's a piece of my mind. Go on ahead and scan this QR code for the ASUS ROG Strix monitor. Or you can also click on the links down below for the ASUS ROG Strix monitor, but you'll also find relevant links down below. Thanks for watching, and why don't you leave a like and a sub?